some of the things I like, I know a lot of those Tableau server environments that have been built up over a long period of time have thousands and thousands of pieces of content. So having a really structured audit log when you move stuff across is just going to make it a lot easier to reassure your users that their content is where it should be, and that they haven't lost work. So that's I wonder if you could talk through any customer stories or specific use cases where you guys have used TabMove to improve efficiency and reduce costs and help people to migrate across quicker.
Sure, yeah. I'll admit, this is a bit of a, it's a very linear use case. You use TabMove to migrate. It's a one-use tool for whoever is using it. But it does bring these benefits that you mentioned, the efficiency, the reduced cost, and even driving innovation. And the reason why is quite simple, I think, because you got to ask yourself, okay, we decided we're going to migrate to Tableau Cloud, and we basically have two options. We do it ourselves, or we use a tool like TabMove to support and facilitate that. So the use case is compare what it would cost to do it yourself to what it would cost to do it with TabMove. So if you do it yourself, it's not a very, very difficult equation, I think, because you can calculate, assuming, let's say, an average time of 25 minutes to migrate a workbook, an average time of 1 minute to recreate a user, and then maybe even using some mechanisms like uploading a CSV, etc. You can calculate more or less the amount of time in man hours it would take to migrate, and we can compare that to what TabMove would need in amount of time to do that. And that's the case you can make, if you will. Now, sure. I'll admit, there are use cases like a very, very, very small deployment with a dozen workbooks and users. You don't need TabMove to migrate that. It's going to be quicker to just take your stuff and republish it and do that, because you'll be done before you've connected TabMove to every moving piece that you have. But as soon as you start going into any real scale of a deployment, a few dozen workbooks, etc., then it becomes more interesting. And so the use case in the end for the clients is, well, again, I'm gonna restate the fragments of the question. Efficiency obviously is improved through speed. Cost is reduced because time is freed up for people who might otherwise have had to spend their time downloading and re-uploading workbooks, etc. And another fragment of the question is how does it drive innovation? I'm gonna focus on that for a second, because we've had customers that we worked with that literally said not having to migrate ourselves allowed us to do different things, such as spending their time guiding their users into this transition and into the change related to data governance. We talked about this earlier, Francois, where we said maybe this is a new era of self-service because now cloud enables that. Well, that freed up their time to ensure that everyone was prepared for this change and was able to do that. We've had other customers where they said, instead of moving Tableau dashboards within our modern data platform, which is a larger scale migration even, they were able to refocus their attention on migrating the data, ensuring that that is in place by the time then that TabMove puts all of the reporting with Tableau in place. So having the ability to refocus their attention on something else during that migration, that's, I think, the end game for most of the customers we've worked with.
Yeah, and I think it feels to me like having a fully automated approach where you have like a solid audit trail is really important, where you have lots and lots of content with different permission structures, because it's quite easy when you migrate content to, inadvertently create a project which has got wider access than you would like, and then you end up exposing data where you shouldn't. So I think it feels to me like we're migrating content. That content has to have user permissions and what have you around it. By doing that in an automated way, it feels like that's going to take a bunch of risk out.